Hey guys, this is Anime Ball Z here, and today we're going to be doing the 8th part of What If Naruto Was an Ape Sage. As I've told you many times before, I really like where this What If is going, and this is going to be one of the best What If parts out of all of them. I'm not going to ruin the experience, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag, disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
Firstly, let's begin with the confrontation of Taka against Killer Bee. Sasuke's eyes glow red, then two snakes appear from his back. They crackle with black lightning and he holds his sword. Sasuke's sword crackles with dark black lightning also, and one snake hurls itself at Killer Bee. It gets slashed in 4 different areas, but the black lightning shocks Killer Bee slightly. The second one then zooms in his direction and bites onto his side. It puts a bunch of black lightning into Killer Bee, then it gets decapitated by him. As he looks up, Sasuke is right next to him. Their 2 lightning swords clash, and then Sasuke fully pulls his curse mark across his body. He plants his feet and pushes as hard as he can. He pushes Killer Bee back, then slashes his abdominal area before kicking him back. He leaps up and slashes his right trap. Killer Bee stands and then Gyuki Chakra appears around his body. He zooms back at Sasuke and their swords clash. Sasuke speeds across and slashes Killer Bee but gets slashed back. Sasuke throws away his sword and clenches his fists. Killer Bee aims his sword at Sasuke, waiting for his approach. Sasuke runs at Killer Bee and literally grabs his sword. His hand bleeds, but he kicks Killer Bee back and pulls the sword out of his hand. He creates the Black Lightning Chidori and cuts it deep into Killer Bee. Killer Bee spits blood, then it grabs his arms. However, his arms cloak in more red chakra until he grows in size and looks like Naruto's Four Tails form. Sasuke thinks, oh god. Killer Bee slams into the ground and Sasuke dodges slightly. He uses the Chidori Senbon Jutsu, but it proves to be futile. He grabs his sword again and focuses his Chidori current jutsu at Killer Bee. Killer Bee manages to handle and overpower this jutsu, however. Sasuke's curse mark grows and fuses in with one another to form his level 2 form. He flies up and dodges another slam to the floor. He spins within the air and throws a Fuma Shuriken at him. Killer Bee catches it and destroys it, even handling the outburst of black lightning. Sasuke lands and his red eyes turn into his Mangekyo Sharingan. He uses Itachi's Amaterasu and burns Killer Bee. Killer Bee turns to his strongest form to try and combat the burn, but it just doesn't stop burning and hurting him. Sasuke creates the nuclear Chidori and launches it at Killer Bee. It explodes and Killer Bee is heavily injured. Sasuke thinks, I can't believe this guy made me use one of my strongest forms to fight him. I'm supposed to be saving all of this for Naruto. They retrieve Killer Bee and return to the Akatsuki base, and things with him and the Akatsuki go the same as canon. Now let's get to Pain infiltrating Konoha. Naruto is much more prepared since he's already there and is way stronger. He summons 2 different Uzaru to patrol the city by jumping across the different roofs, and Naruto creates 1000 clones with his own Ape Sage mode and Kyuubi Chakra. This is the Ape Sage mode that gives him darker skin, by the way. This means Kosuke doesn't die, and Danzo is still a little wary of him capturing the Nine Tails. However, he knows of Naruto's strength. Just to put in comparison, Naruto, when he just came back to the village at the start of Shippuden in this What If, was stronger than Naruto now when he returned with Toad Sage mode in canon. Now with all the transformations and forms that he has and the new Rasengan that he is way stronger. Kakashi and 100 Naruto Shadow Clones find the Diva Path. 20 Shadow Clones zoom at him, but he pushes them away with his gravity manipulation technique. They roll away but don't poof away just yet. He pulls them towards him, but they push away and manage to keep their footing. He pulls harder than a good 50 fly forward. He then kills all of them as they approach him. One quickly follows by leaping at him and actually hits his Rasen Shuriken. The Diva Path flies into the floor, then he launches a golden bomb which also works. The Shadow Clone goes in for another attack but is punched away and he poofs. Kakashi thinks he can't use the techniques in quick succession. He has a cooldown. He says, everyone, he has a cooldown, make him use his powers then interrogate. 10 Shadow Clones create the simple Rasengan and run towards him. He pushes them all away, then 5 sun bombs fly right at him. They all cause an absolutely massive explosion which almost completely destroys the Diva Path. However, the Ashura Path comes to aid and is seen to have taken a lot of the damage. One of Naruto's Shadow Clones launches the Mouth Sun Bomb, but the Ashura Path detaches and launches its hand forward to prevent the explosion from coming very close to them. The Diva Path stands and launches the Ashura Path at the group. A group of missiles are launched, but Kakashi pulls his mask down to reveal his Mangekyo Sharingan. He uses it and takes the missiles away to another dimension. His eye bleeds and he quickly pulls his mask over his eye to diminish the chakra drain. 3 Naruto Shadow Clones then approach him and interrogate his space. He launches a missile, but one Naruto Shadow Clone gets in the way and tanks the explosion. Through the explosion, 2 Naruto Shadow Clones appear with 2 golden Rasengan. They aim it at the Ashura Path and they manage to land the 2 explosions before getting blown away by the Diva Path's Shinra Tensei. They poof away and a good 10 Shadow Clones remain with Kakashi. Kakashi uses his Raikiri and he says, prepare, use your golden bombs and prepare. They launch them and as Kakashi predicted, they fly right back to them. They dodge them then stay put. They then start to show light signs of fatigue. This shows how much Naruto is working across the village and it's even draining his large chakra reserves. He's even using Kyuubi chakra too, which is really helping him right now. They launch another set of golden bombs and Kakashi zooms into the smoke. He leaps forward and stabs it into the Ashura path before getting blown away. Right after this though, Uzaru steps onto the Ashura path powerfully and destroys it. The Diva path tries to push him away, but all it does is move his foot slightly. It just gets kicked right into a building's wall. Then the Uzaru runs off. The Diva path flies up then uses Chubaku Tensei as it sees Pain's loss in the battle overall. Masses of rock clump onto this black ball in the sky, then it reveals to be a huge ball of rock. The two Uzaru turn to notice the huge rock. They both launch a mass of mouth bombs, but they just leave dents in the ball which quickly heal. Naruto looks up and then the rock begins to fall. The two Uzaru leap to knock the rock away but are sent flying back down to the ground. Naruto then looks up more and sees a dire situation. He thinks, I need something more powerful. He then cuts back to his training in the Black Mountains. He is in a hall eating personally with the King Uzaru's son Wukong. Naruto says, is it possible for me to be like you guys? Son Wukong says, like our type of apes? He says, yeah. He says, well, yes, but you stay like that forever after that. Naruto says, no, like get a form where it's like you guys. He says, it's very improbable, but possible. We've never had a human even come close to the level that you're at right now anyway, so maybe. You have to absorb a huge amount of natural energy while already in your strongest Ape Sage Mode form. You have to do it little by little, absorb a little, maintain it, little then maintain it until you fully transform. This will stop you from staying like that. This ability is special to us apes. For any other type of Sage Mode it wouldn't work. Naruto says, oh cool. Naruto thinks, little by little, huh? Okay. He gains a simmering aura and his muscles buff up. Everyone looks in confusion, then his body enlarges. He grows to 5 meters, then to 10. He then eventually grows to the size of the other Uzaru. He roars as a Kyuubi cloak engulfs him. He looks up then opens his mouth. He shows his new fangs and launches a massive white ball of energy. It soars towards the falling mini moon and hits it. The explosion is so large that it causes massive waves of wind to blow away the buildings and the other ninja. The satellite shatters and destroys itself. Naruto turns towards the Diva path and raises his hand. A massive Kyuubi Rasengan creates within his dark palm and he launches it right at him. His powers were on cooldown during this, so he gets hit by this massive Rasengan and gets blown to bits. Naruto turns and sees Uzaru finish off the last pain path. Naruto's Kyuubi cloak disappears. He looks at his body in surprise at what's happening and says, whoa. The Uzaru that just finished off the last pain path says, it's you, the chosen human, the true successor of our teachings. Many have come and many have left in failure. Some came close but never as close as you. You're almost there. He laughs and says, thank you. The ninja get healed by the clusters of medical nin across the village. Naruto exhales slowly and slowly releases the natural energy from his body, gradually forming just chakra again. He returns to Ape Sage Mode in his normal form. He says, we did it. The ninja says, you did it, Naruto. We were merely assisting you. And Uzaru says, you did good, kid. Real good. He waves at Naruto and Naruto waves at him. The other one nods and they both disappear. Naruto actually shows to be quite tired. He has really outputted tons of chakra across the village just to protect it, and some buildings are still decimated. The stuff with Nagato goes the same and Naruto is given an even warmer welcome to all of this. He actually becomes a talk of the council towards him being the next Hokage since he has great leadership skills, phenomenal power and also great potential. Actually, Naruto gets promoted to a Jonin for his efforts and he is very happy with this. It's another step closer to him becoming Hokage. For the beginning of the Kage Summit, nothing really changes since there is no involvement with any of the Uzaru or Naruto and there will be no real changes to the involvement with Sasuke. However, as the Kage Summit advances, things certainly change. Let's get to the fight between Sasuke and the Raikage. Sasuke stands against him and quickly pulls out his curse mark. Luckily, Itachi didn't remove the curse mark from him and this makes him way stronger. He can also control it much better. He goes into level 2 from the jump and his sword crackles with masses of black lightning. He throws the sword at the Raikage and it just knocks him back a little bit. Sasuke blitzes towards the Raikage but his speed is still inferior to his. He uses his black Chidori but the Raikage's cloak saves him a lot. Sasuke hits him with his wing then falls into a power struggle with him. He pushes and pushes punches, and as much as I want to say that Sasuke's gotten way stronger, he just gets slammed into the floor below. Sasuke reveals his Mangekyo and tries to use his Amaterasu, but the Raikage moves out of the way just in time. Sasuke stands and clenches his fists. Purple chakra surrounds him and he grabs Zabuza's sword from Suigetsu. It swarms with black lightning and then a ribcage takes form around him. He swings his sword, then zooms right at the Raikage with his even more enhanced speed. It is still inferior, but he lands a slash onto his cloak. He slightly swerves away from a punch and slashes his body. He sidesteps away, then uses the sword to block a punch from the Raikage. It shatters on impact and Sasuke is double drop kicked far across the hall. Sasuke grabs a rock and it somehow cloaks with a Amaterasu. He throws it at the Raikage, but he dodges with ease. This was merely a distraction because Sasuke follows by quickly blitzing him, then flying into the air. He creates the nuclear Chidori, then dives down to the ground with his Chidori ahead of him. The Raikage prepares himself and his cloak tanks most of the attack. Sasuke is blown back and the Raikage slides back. Sasuke rolls away and he thinks, so strong. So that will conclude the 8th part of What If Naruto Was an Ape Sage. Now there will be a lot of things that I will ask you guys in the community section if I should implement it into the What If. In other words, there are many ways as What If can go, and I want you guys to have the best experience and really like what I put onto the table with this. So I'll be asking you questions, asking you what I should put into the What If to make you guys as happy as possible with it. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.